Welcome to the regular council meeting of Town of Kirkland Lake for Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. Call to order in a moment of silence. Item 2, land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the Town of Kirkland Lake is located on traditional and unceded territory of Indigenous people. We recognize the presence of Indigenous people in our community since time immemorial and honor their stewardship and care of these lands. We hereby affirm our continued commitment and responsibility for reconciliation. Item 3, approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Ranger, seconded by Councillor Kiley.
Be resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, April 21st, 2026 be approved as circulated.
All in favor? Carried. Item 4, declaration of pecuniary interest. None noted. There's no item 5 or 6, so item 7, approval and acceptance of minutes. Moved by Councillor Ranger, seconded by Councillor Shava.
Be resolved that council approve the minutes of the following meeting, minutes of the regular meeting of council held until 2026.
All in favor? Carried. Item 8, reports from municipal officers and staff. 8.1, 2026 community grant program requests for funding for Oaks Project Heritage and Arts and Tourism. Director Labrador. Oh, sorry. Yeah, moved by Councillor Ranger, seconded by Councillor Jenkins.
Be resolved that report number 2026 DV08 entitled 2026 Community Grants Program Request for Funding, OPAT, be received, and that council received the Kirkland Lake Economic Development Advisory Committee's recommendation dated February 25th, 2026 regarding the Oaks Project Heritage Arts and Tourism's in-kind request under the Community Grants Program, and finally that council deny OPAT's request under the Community Grants Program for an in-kind contribution of $5,000 to be used to assist with property maintenance of the Sir Harry Oaks Chateau.
Good evening to you, Acting Mayor and Council. Before you is a request from the Oaks Project Heritage Arts and Tourism Group for a $5,000 in-kind contribution to yard and snow maintenance. Recommendation from the Kirkland Lake Economic Development Advisory Committee was to deny the request, not based on the in-kind portion, because in-kind is in the program, but the liability risks involved in snow removal and maintenance of a non-town building. When snow and maintenance are done on a building that's not insured by the town, that puts the town in quite a large liability risk. The Economic Development Advisory Committee has requested that we go back to them, to the group, to offer other programs and such that we could offer them. But at this time, the recommendation from the group is that we deny the offer. I can answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you for that. Any questions from council? Unnoted. All in favor? Carried. Item 8.2, other grant program requests of funding for Rotary Club of Kirkland Lake. Moved by Councillor Dyson, seconded by Councillor Shava.
Be resolved that report number 2026 DV09 entitled 2026 Community Grants Program Request for Funding, Rotary Club, be received, and that council received the Kirkland Lake Economic Development Advisory Committee's recommendation dated February 25th, 2026 regarding the Rotary Club's funding request under the Community Grants Program. And finally, that council approved the Rotary Club of Kirkland Lake's request under the Community Grant Program for funding totaling $5,000 to be used to assist with expenses to support the fish derby.
Good evening to you, Acting Mayor, to Council. Putting this in for you today, the recommendation for $5,000 for the Rotary Club. Rotary has come to us on several occasions for the Derby. The Derby has become a large tourism aspect, so probably in the near future, this will be moved over to the Tourism Development Corporation for a funding opportunity to grow the event as it's becoming kind of a regional hub. The Fishing Derby is a very successful event that Rotary puts on, and we have always supported the Rotary Club as they're one of our only service clubs in town. So the recommendation forward is that we support this and we continue to. I'll take any questions if you have.
Questions or comments from council? Councilor Ranger?
Thank you, through you, acting mayor. As a pastortarian, I can express that there is a lot of work. It was picked up when Festivals Committee originally created it. And when they folded, Rotary was approached and took it on. Mike Marinick spearheads the fishing derby, and they work on it all year round. It has really become a distinct winter activity in Kirkland Lake, and I hope to see it move over to our tourism department in the future for support. And I'm glad to see that they put in an application because it's a very costly activity.
Thank you for that. Any more questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Item 8.3, another community grant program request by the Kirkland Lake Skating Club, moved by Councilor Owens, seconded by Councilor Kylie.
Be resolved that report number 2026 DEV 10 entitled 2026 Community Grants Program Request for Funding for Kirkland Lake Skating Club be received, and that council receive PDAC's recommendation dated February 25th, 2026 regarding the Kirkland Lake Skating Club's in-kind request under the Community Grants Program. And finally, that council approved the Kirkland Lake Skating Club's request under the Community Grant Program for an in-kind contribution of $5,000 to be used to assist with operating costs.
Director.
Good evening to you, acting mayor, to council. This is the first time we've received a Kirkland Lake Skating Club application. It's nice to see new groups making or reaching out to us for support. As our community grows, the amount of services that these clubs can provide is crucial. This $5,000 request is for their programming and operating for their programs. In consultation with the Director of Community Services, we were able to take a look at the application and bring it forth to Economic Development Advisory Committee. And the recommendation stands that we provide the funding. So I have it before you tonight. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to have.
Councilor Owens.
Yes, so you acting, it's not a question, it's just a comment. The Kirkland Lake Skating Club, as far as I know, is the oldest sporting organization in Kirkland Lake. At one time, they were quite a large organization. As noted, Tyler, Cranston, Taller Cranston.
Yeah.
Actually, he started his figure skating on the outdoor rink in Swastika. Mr. Barkel, I used to watch the Olympics and go, I know that guy, but he established himself as a world-class figure skater prior to going into coaching, and he also coached at the Olympic level. So somehow this club has survived come hell or high water. I'm not sure how. The membership has dropped off, but I see Ms. Barkel, the coach, quite often at the arena, and I believe their numbers are starting to grow again. And with anticipated growth in Kirkland Lake, I expect this club is going to be around for another 40 or 50 years. So I strongly support this.
Thank you for your help on that. Any more comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. Item 8.4, supplemental proposed pool roof investigation at the Joe Mavronack Community Complex, and this would be presented by Director Fockers, moved by Councilor Dyken, seconded by Councilor Kylie.
Be resolved that report number 2026 POM 04 entitled Supplemental Proposed Pool Roof Investigation Joe Mavronack Community Complex be received, and that council approve additional funding of $16,644 plus applicable taxes to be drawn from the working capital reserve to cover the full scope of the pool roof investigation, including preparation of contractor specifications, oversight of remediation work, and verification that all identified issues are properly addressed. And finally, that administration return to council with a report outlining the results of the investigation, recommended scope of work and construction strategy, and proposed funding approach for council's consideration prior to the issuance of any request for tender.
Thank you. Good evening. Through you, acting mayor, to council. The report in front of you tonight is an update on the pool roof investigation at the Joe Mavronack Community Complex and where we're at today. Council had previously approved funding on January 6th of this year to start the work, and since then, Dicon Roof and Building Consultants has completed their initial site visit. What they've confirmed is that the issue is not just the roof itself, it's a broader problem with the building envelope. In simple terms, the natatorium, or the aquatic center, not the change room portion, is supposed to function like a sealed system. So anything that goes in, anything that comes out needs to be controlled. Right now, that seal is compromised. We're seeing significant air movement through the walls, roof connections, and panel seams. And that air is carrying moisture into areas where it shouldn't be. That's what's leading to the water infiltration and the deterioration that we're seeing along the parapet walls, roof perimeter, and ultimately inside our aquatic center. So while there are visible roof issues like fastener failures and corrosion, those are really symptoms. The root cause is the uncontrolled movement of warm chlorinated air. The next step is to properly confirm exactly where those failures are occurring. Dicon is proposing a more detailed investigation where sections of the roof and wall assemblies are opened and the building is pressurized so they can physically track air movement using smoke or other methods. This step is critical because without it, we risk spending a significant amount of money on repairs that might not solve the problem. The additional $16,644 is being requested to allow Dicon to complete this investigation, develop proper specifications and a full scope of work, and support us through contract administration and quality control into the next phase. This report is not asking to proceed with construction at this time. I'm here to seek approval to complete the investigation, which may also help with our legal case. And then I will come back to council with confirmed findings, a clear scope of work, a recommended repair strategy, and funding options before we issue any tenders. The goal is to make sure that we fully understand the problem and get it right the first time rather than chasing ongoing issues. That summarizes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you for the report. Any questions or comments from members of council? Is there a timeline as to when the report will be ready for moving forward with the extension?
So we are hoping to get this done this spring. Dicon, the individuals that I'm working with, they are expecting an answer from me tomorrow. And so as soon as the snow is off of our roof, we can begin the investigations and ready to take the work on. I'm estimating it will be approximately 6 to 8 weeks, potentially longer, depending on what other projects they might have. But you will have a report in front of you hopefully before fall.
Councilor Owen.
Yes, so you, Councillor Owens, acting mayor, sorry.
Same thing.
That would take us into our time period when we can't name that time period. Is there any chance that this could be done prior to that? Because it's an ongoing issue that I've heard from many people, that are concerned about it. And like I realize it may not be feasible, but maybe the director could explain that to the people doing the work and hopefully aim for something before the lame duck period.
Yeah, I agree with Councilor Owen on this one. There's a sore point in the town of Kirkland Lake, it's that building. And no matter which way we go on it, it's never gonna be good enough. But in this case, I agree with Councilor, like 6 to 8 weeks, lame duck or not, there's a structural issue with the building, there's something wrong, and we're just at one point, does it become dangerous for that building to even be open? I'm not pleased with the 8-week timeline on this one, regardless if we go lame duck or not. I don't know if I didn't answer that one, but.
Yeah, so through you to all of council. So in terms of a timeline, I can absolutely have a discussion with them and see how fast that they can get it going. Just in their initial site visit, the amount of information that they were able to share with us in that short time span, it does give me hope that they're able to give us, they're able to do the investigative work and give us answers sooner than that. So I can report back, maybe through operational updates in terms of how quick this work can get done. I'll have our maintenance manager go up onto the roof just to make sure all the snow, maybe it's already cleared. I haven't been up there in a while. with the sun beaming down, it might be okay, and maybe they can start the work as early as next week. It is hard to say. And can I ask when lame duck begins? Honestly.
Yeah,
Lame duck may not have to be declared, it all depends on, circumstance of who actually, files a nomination, I believe, so,
but regardless, it wouldn't happen
still-
until August, right?
yeah, exactly, so, but, given, of course, there's a definitely concern on timing, I can definitely appreciate that, given the, severity of, the situation. So we will reach out to DICON and stress to them the importance of getting this work done quickly and the possibility of a lame duck period in August. So we will reach out to them and really stress the point of getting this done soon.
Can I be as bold to say that council would like to have it by the end of May? Is that something we can ask for? Like, I mean, we've had the discussion before, it takes a while for stuff to come back. Can we ask that this report somehow stress to that contractor that we'd like to have this done by May because of the urgency in the situation?
There's no harm in asking.
Do you need a formal amendment from council? Yeah, that's a question from.
Okay, sorry.
There's a few more questions, we'll go around and we may come back, but that Councillor Dykens, Councillor Ranger, and Councillor Shabel.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. Yeah, there's the lame duck thing, but I want to go back to what you said, Casey. At what point does it become a risk, right? So I think if you pass that along to them, they'll do what they can because I know they have other projects, but yeah, I think if you communicate to them, we'd like it ASAP. Yeah, because even if we pass a resolution or a motion, they still, it's up to them, right? Like, and their availability, so.
Yeah. And through you, Acting Mayor, to Councillor Dykens, just for that peace of mind. We do daily inspections of the area, the entire area, what's open to the public and what's only open to staff. So knock on wood, things have been okay during the thaw of the couple of warm days that we've had. So rest assured that things are okay right now.
Councillor Ranger?
Thank you, through you, Acting Mayor. I think we also have to look at the report needs to be expedited because then we'll probably be going for a request for tender to fix these issues. And then that'll get stuck in no man's land if we don't. So pressure's on.
Like Colin. Councillor Shabel?
Yeah, to you, acting chair. So Dicon is actually familiar with this building now, right? So they must be able to at least have a good assessment of the risk factor. So when I go and do something to a couple of roofs, cable and concrete, I understand the risk factor. Right away, you can establish that so that at least that will propel your timeline, which you could do things. So again, I like to know what that risk factor is, if they have if it's something they need to spend more time because of the risk factor or less time because of, I don't know. So I like to know that because you may have to maybe cordon out for a short the whole place down if the risk factor is pretty high in my own. Number two is I'm not too sure. We're asking them to, we can ask them to accelerate the deliverables. But at the same time, I'm not too sure would that impact the cost, because usually some of this engineering firm, when you ask them to accelerate things, well, that means that they have to deploy more staff from other project to that particular project to make it happen. So which is more man hours or woman hours or whatever, person hours. So I'm not too sure if that is gonna cost more. So if it's gonna cost more, I mean, that's something that everybody could live with here, because if you want to deliver in May and they said it's gonna cost more, it's something that we could live with. So I don't know that. So maybe something that you can inquire. Thank you.
I can appreciate the comment, and having lived through recently what it is to suddenly get yanked out of your building because of structural issues. I think the cost warrants, if there are extra costs, I personally wouldn't have an issue with that if it means we can get the report quicker. Councillor Kylie.
Yeah, through you, acting mayor, August is a little unrealistic because that's when we'd be calling for tenders. That means getting up on that roof if there's roof repairs have to be done. The snow will be on the ground in November. We're gonna be looking at next spring. So somehow we gotta work around it if possible.
So I think we agree it needs to be done quicker as soon as possible, and I'm sure staff will be in contact with the contractor as soon as possible to get smooth. There's no more comments. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Carried. Item 9, members' motions, none this evening, so we're going to move on to reading and considerations of bylaws. 10.1 bylaw chapter 624 deeming bylaw lots H, J, and K. Plan M143T. Moved by Councilor Ranger, seconded by Councilor Shava.
Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read a first and second time, bylaw number 2624 being a bylaw to deem lots G, H, J, and K of registered plan M143T not to be registered.
All in favor? Carried. Third reading moved by Councilor Shava, seconded by Councilor Ranger.
Be resolved that the following bylaw be read a third time and numbered, passed, signed, and sealed, bylaw number 2624.
All in favor? Carried. Item 10.2 bylaw 2625 designated SPC area and DOA moved by Councilor Ranger, seconded by Councilor Kylie.
Be resolved that the following bylaw be read a first and second time, bylaw number 2625, and the bylaw to designate a site plan control area and to adopt rules for the processing of site plan control applications.
All in favor? Opposed? All in favor? Oh, abstain? Okay, abstain. Motion is carried. Third reading of that one, moved by Councilor Ranger, seconded by Councilor Shava.
Be resolved that the following bylaw be read a third time and numbered, passed, signed, and sealed, bylaw number 2625.
All in favor? Carried. Item 10.3 bylaw 26 open air burning bylaw moved by Councilor Kylie, seconded by Councilor Ranger. I believe the fire chief will be speaking to that one before we pass it. Excuse me, the fire chief and director of emergency services.
Good evening, Acting Mayor, Council. The reason it came back and I'd like to speak on this topic, we did receive, we sent the POA to the courts. They did come back with one amendment. And it was on the last page of the amendment, number 22. And we had asked for $1,000 as the penalty. And they dropped it down to $500. And that was the only change from POA courts. I just wanted to speak on that topic and just be upfront.
All right. Any questions or comments on that?
Be resolved that the following bylaw be read a first and second time, bylaw number 2626 being a bylaw to regulate open air burning within the jurisdiction of town of Clerkenwell.
All in favor? Carried. Third reading of that one, moved by Councilor Ranger, seconded by Councilor Dickens.
Be resolved that the following bylaw be read a third time and numbered, passed, signed, and sealed, bylaw number 2626.
All in favor? Carried. Item 11, notices of motion. None noted. Item 12, councilors report and committees of council, local and regional board updates. Moved by Councilor Ranger, seconded by Councilor Shava, or Councilor Shava.
Be resolved that the verbal updates from members of council be received.
Any updates from any members of council? We're really flying through this one tonight, aren't we? Seeing no reports, all in favor? Carried. Proclamations and recognition. Item 13.1, community living. Moved by Councillor Ranger, seconded by Councillor Owen.
Be resolved that council sanctions proclamation for Community Living Month, May 2026, in the town of Kirkland Lake.
And this is where I read this one, right? Whereas Community Living Ontario represents more than 12,000 including people who have intellectual disabilities, their families, and concerned citizens through the federation of 117 local associations across Ontario. And whereas Community Living Ontario promotes values and community development, contributes to social policy advocates while providing crucial services to people with disabilities and their families. And whereas raising awareness of inclusion and public acceptance for the support of these services has started with and has been championed by Community Living Kirkland Lake for 79 years. And whereas Community Living Kirkland Lake provides residential, community, and support services for 80 people and employs over 75 members of our community. And whereas the community quality, of these services depends largely on the dedication of trained workers who provide these services while working towards community inclusion of the people they support. And whereas the availability of these services help improve the quality of life for everyone while making our community stronger and more stable. And whereas greater recognition and understanding of the critical role that community living plays in our community is needed to ensure continued availability and improvement of services. Therefore, I, Casey Owens, acting mayor of the town of Kirkland Lake, do proclaim the month of May 2026 as Community Living Month. Oh, do I have to ask all in favor? All in favor? Carried. I've been sitting on this council for 8 years and I don't remember something. Item 13.2, World Hygiene Day. Moved by Councillor Dykens, seconded by Councillor Ranger.
Be it resolved that council sanction the proclamation for World Hand Hygiene Day, May 5th, 2026, in the town of Kirkland Lake.
Whereas hand hygiene is a simple yet effective way to prevent infections and save lives, proper hand hygiene practices can significantly reduce the spread of diseases, including respiratory and gastrointestinal infections. And whereas healthcare workers, patients, and the public all play a crucial role in maintaining hand hygiene to protect themselves and others. And whereas the World Health Organization has designated May 5th as World Hand Hygiene Day to raise awareness and promote the importance of hand hygiene globally. And whereas the unnecessary use of gloves, particularly in healthcare settings, has significant environmental impacts. Here are some key points. Increased waste. The overuse of gloves leads to substantial increase in medical waste. The waste often ends up in landfills or incinerators, contributing to environmental pollution. Resource consumption. The production of gloves requires a significant amount of raw materials such as latex or synthetic alternatives, as well as water and energy. This increases the demand for natural resources and contributes to environmental degradation. Carbon footprint. The manufacturing, transportation, and disposal of gloves contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. Reducing unnecessary glove use can help lower the carbon footprint associated with these processes. Cross-contamination risk. Overuse of gloves can lead to cross-contamination if not used properly, which can have indirect environmental impacts by increasing the spread of infections and the need of additional medical intervention. Efforts to reduce unnecessary glove use, such as educating healthcare workers on appropriate glove use, can help mitigate these environmental impacts while maintaining patient safety. Now, therefore, I, Casey Owens, acting mayor of the town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim May 5th, 2026 as World Hand Hygiene Day in the town of Kirkland Lake. And finally, encourage all citizens, healthcare professionals, and organizations to join in this global effort to promote and practice proper hand hygiene to improve health and well-being for all. All in favor? Carried. Item 14, additional information in mayor's provincial policy matters. So 14.1, notice of public meeting application for official plan amendment and zoning amendment and equals. Moved by Councillor Ranger, seconded by Councillor Chava.
Be it resolved that council sanction the call of a public meeting to hear an application for a proposed official plan amendment and a zoning amendment for lands located on Premier Avenue East, Mac Street and Lanes, Agnico Eagle Mines Limited, on Tuesday, May 5th, 2026 at 4:50 p.m.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We will now take a 10-minute recess for movement of votes. 15 closed session moved by Councilor Dyken, seconded by Councilor Shabbat.
Resolved that council adjourning camera pursuant to section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, labor relations or employee negotiations, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunal. Affecting. Oh, no, not supposed to.
Okay, right.
Litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals, affecting municipality or local boards, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, and a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board as 527 for the following reasons. Item 15.1, human resources update.
All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councilor Ranger, seconded by Councilor Owen.
Be resolved that council reconvene in open session at 5:47 p.m.
All in favor? Carried. Recommendations from matters in closed, there are none. Any notices of reconsiderations? None noted. Item 18, confirmation bylaw, moved by Councilor Kylie, seconded by Councilor Ranger.
Be resolved that the following bylaw be read a first, second, and third time and numbered, passed, signed, and sealed. Bylaw number 2627, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held Tuesday, April 21st, 2026.
All in favor? Third reading of the same motion. So moved by for adjournment, seconded by Councilor Higgins.